everybody, this is Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2015 movie Terminator Genisys. The movie's directed by Alan Taylor and written by Leda Calagrides and Patrick Lessier. And this movie is kind of hard to explain because the timelines in this movie are really weird. It starts off where Kyle Reese is being sent back to 1984 and everything, but it's an alternate timeline. When he gets there, Sarah Connor is already aware of everything that's going on, and she has a Terminator that's with her, once again played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a T-8000, and she calls him Pops because he pretty much raised her from when she was a kid and everything. He was sent back in time to when she was a kid and everything, and he raised her and everything. And so in this movie they're trying to stop Skynet from happening and taking over the world and everything, but instead of going to Instead of going to 1997 to just stop Skynet, they have to go to the year 2017 to stop Genisys, which is pretty much Skynet, just how Skynet pretty much found a way to, in a different timeline and everything. And when they get to 2017, they find out that John Connor is a Terminator, and he's trying to stop them from stopping Genisys from happening. And that's pretty much the story of this one. I know this one's not a very popular one. I know a lot of people actually even have said that they thought this was the worst one and everything, but I actually really like this one a lot. It's probably my favorite one since Terminator 2. And everything. I think the cast was all really good in this movie, and everything except for Jason Clarke, who plays John Connor. He's the only one I didn't like in this movie, but the rest of them I thought all did a good job and everything. And I like the references to the other movies and everything. Like there's this T-1000 at the beginning of the movie when they are in 1984 that is reminiscent of the one from Terminator 2. I thought he was pretty cool and everything, and then but that one gets killed off really quickly, and pretty much becomes John Connor's the one that's after him throughout the rest of the movie and everything, which I think would have been a pretty good twist and everything. But before this movie came out, I had already knew about the twist because they showed it in the trailer, because it seems like Paramount always does that. Paramount and Universal always have to show everything in the trailers for the movies and everything. But still, I thought it was still a good twist and everything, though. It would have been even better if it hadn't been spoiled before I had seen this one, which this wasn't my first time seeing it. I saw it back when it first came out on DVD, but it's my first time rewatching it, and I actually think I liked it even more this time around. I loved it the first time I watched it, and I think I like it even more now. But I know the timeline thing is confusing and weird, but I actually really liked the way they did it, because to me it felt more like a Terminator movie than the last movie did. The Terminator Salvation just didn't feel like a Terminator movie. This one actually did. The other thing that I don't like about it, though, is with the PG-13 rating, the action isn't near as good as it could have been and everything. I know that Terminator Salvation was PG-13, but as much as I hate to say it, the action sequences in that one were even better than this one and everything. But there were a few good scenes, like with Arnold the Terminator and John Connor fighting. Those were some pretty cool scenes and everything, but it wasn't as good as we've seen a lot of the stuff that happened in this movie done a lot better and everything in previous movies, some of the action scenes. But for the most part, this was a really fun movie, though. And Uh, the cast is all really good. Like I said, for the most part, Emilia Clarke plays Sarah Connor in this one. I thought she did a really good job. I know a lot of people hated her as Sarah Connor, but I personally thought she did a really good job and everything. She was really likable in it, and I thought she was really good. I mean, she may not be as good as Linda Hamilton was in the first two movies, but she's still a really good character and really likable and everything. And I think Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese was really good too. I think he was a whole lot better than Anton Yelchin was in Terminator Salvation. I don't think I liked him as much as Michael Biehn though, and everything like from the first one. But I still think that he did a really good job playing Kyle Reese. And then of course Arnold Schwarzenegger is great again as the Terminator. And I really like the relationship that this Terminator and Sarah Connor have together. Like, they have a real father-daughter relationship, it seems like, and the chemistry between them works really well, and I really like that. There's this little running gag in the movie where he does the smiling, or he smiles, and everything it's like really awkward and weird, but it's also really amusing the way they do that throughout the movie. And there's also another little running gag where he asks, he's asking Sarah if her and Kyle have mated yet, because they have to mate to make John Connor be born and everything. I thought that was kind of funny too. And I thought the humor in this was pretty good and everything. I mean, they didn't have tons of humor, but when they did, I thought that it was pretty funny and everything. And it was awesome having Arnold back in this movie and everything. I thought he was great and everything. Most of the special effects are really good too. But they're towards the end of it in the last act, when the CGI does get pretty bad and everything, and the sets aren't quite as good in this one as they are in some of the other ones, because you could tell they used green screens or whatever throughout a lot of the sets and stuff, instead of using practical sets, which I thought kind of sucked. But besides that though, I really enjoyed this movie, and the cinematography is really good for the most part and everything. It's a really solid movie. I think it's a lot better than most people say it is and everything. I don't really know anybody that likes Genisys, but I think it's a really good movie and everything. It's really underrated. So but I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It probably would get a higher rating if it wasn't for the CGI and Jason Clarke, who I just think was terrible as John Connor and everything. Even though I didn't really like Christian Bale in Salvation, I at least liked him more than Jason Clarke. But there's just something about Jason Clarke. He's one of those he's that actor that I don't know why, I just don't like him. I don't know what it is about him. Maybe and partially I think it's because to me he doesn't really have any personality. Every movie I've seen him in, he doesn't really have any personality in it. He just kind of seems like he's walking through the movies just to be in them. He's not like, his acting just really isn't very good to me and everything. I hated him in the new Pet Sematary movie and Serenity. I thought he was bad in both of those and everything. And everything else I've seen him in, I've thought he was bad in, and this one's no exception. This would probably be a lot higher on my ranking when I do my Terminator ranking if it wasn't for his performance in this movie. But that being said, I do think Terminator Genisys is an underrated movie, and I think it's a lot of fun and everything. I don't really get why it gets so much hate and everything. I'm personally glad that they went the route they did with this one. And I also like that the ending, they didn't leave it at a cliffhanger and everything, because it was supposed to start a new trilogy, but they left it off where it could be, where they could make sequels if they wanted to, but they didn't really have to. I'm glad they didn't end it with a the cliffhanger, because that would have just sucked, because we obviously were never going to get a direct sequel to this one. Everything, which I think is a shame, but I'm still looking forward to seeing Terminator Dark Fate, and I'll be seeing that tomorrow if everything goes as planned. So I'll have my review for that out sometime tomorrow, probably in the evening. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.